Hi, I'm Judah Vitale, functional nutritionist, lifestyle coach, and heart math mentor. And today this is the third video in a series of videos that I'm doing on gut healing. In the last video, I walked you through the digestive process and what happens in each area of the digestive tract. In this video, what I want to talk to you about are the dysfunctions that can arise in each area of the digestive tract and what you can do about that. So if you have any kind of issues happening with digestion, this video is going to help you to understand practical things that you can do to improve your digestion. So, as I mentioned in the last video, digestion really begins here, in the mind and in the heart, really, with how we think and how we feel about our food. And so, basically, when we are, say, cooking or we're preparing a meal, we're being exposed to the aroma, the colors, we're like all of that, the aroma, the view of the food, the thought of eating, all of that is stimulating our digestive forces ahead of time. And if we have a really healthy relationship with food, it's going to enhance our capacity to digest. And if we don't, then it's going to decrease our digestive capacities. So the first thing that we can do to improve digestion is really to slow down, take a break before we eat. Many times we're just eating on the run, eating on the go, or we sit down and we start eating right away. We're in hyperdrive mode and not present with our food. And that's not going to enhance digestion. That's actually going to, as I said in the last video, it's going to minimize the amount of gastric secretions in the stomach of hydrochloric acid, digestive enzymes being secreted by the cells of the small intestine. It's going to slow down gut motility, so food's going to stay in the gut longer, and that's not conducive to optimal digestion. So the first thing that we can do to optimize digestion is slow down, take a break. When we sit down to eat, pause, take a few deep breaths, get calm, express some gratitude, enjoy the presentation of your food, enjoy the smell of your food, and all this is going to start to engage your digestive forces. You can never underestimate the power of the mind in enhancing your digestion. So just take your time, breathe, be grateful, and then begin to eat. And when you begin to eat, chew your food thoroughly. If you just chew it a couple of times and then swallow, that really doesn't give the food time to mix with saliva, which has digestive enzymes like amylase and thiolase in it that are going to begin breaking the starches down. It doesn't allow it to mix with the antibacterial properties of the saliva. So you really want to chew your food properly. And I said it in the last video, and I'll say it again because I find it really important, is you want to drink your solids and chew your liquids. Okay, you want to chew your food enough that it's liquefied. And one of the benefits of that is that it increases the surface area of your food, which makes it easier to digest as it goes through the further down the digestive tract. Okay. Now, once you swallow the food and it enters into the stomach, it mixes with hydrochloric acid, as I mentioned in the last video. Now, one of the key things that I see in my practice is people with a condition called hypochlorhydria. And hypochlorhydria is basically weakened stomach acid or inadequate stomach acid, not enough stomach acid. And when you have inadequate stomach acid, a variety of things can happen from this. One, the acidity of the stomach acid is really important for the production of something called intrinsic factor, which allows you to utilize B12. The other is that it has a digestive enzyme in it called pepsin, and the acidity of the stomach helps the pepsin convert into pepsinogen, which is what you use to begin breaking your proteins down. Now, if you have hypochlorhydria, you'll start to get inadequate protein breakdown. You'll have inadequate intrinsic factors, so you won't be able to utilize your B12. And you're not going to be fully digesting the food. You're not going to be digesting the food very well. And what begins to happen is gas begins to form in the stomach. And it can weaken, also that weakened stomach acid can weaken the cardiac sphincter, which is the flap that keeps the acid in the stomach and prevents it from getting into the esophagus. And when that flap opens, because of weak muscles, what happens is acid from the stomach can leak out and get into the esophagus, and that's acid reflux, or GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Many times people think that they're getting acid reflux because they have too much acid, but the reality is that they're having acid reflux or GERD because they have inadequate or not enough stomach acid. And here's the thing, is that so many people take things like Tums and Rolaids, and this process, I look at it, this is kind of like, for lack of a better analogy, it's like a drug addict. You start with a little bit here, and you start with a minor drug, and then you work your way up to the hard stuff, and before you know it, you're totally hooked on the hard stuff, right? So with this process, you have a little bit of acid reflux, you start taking Tums. And Tums is going to act as a buffer for that acidity. But it begins to weaken the stomach acid even more, which means that the condition becomes even worse. So you start off buying the small roll of Tums, and then you work your way up to like a bottle of Tums. But then you're taking so many that you got to buy the big bottle of Tums or Rolaids. And then before long, that's not working anymore. And then you graduate up to what we call the proton pump inhibitors, like omeprazole or Prilosec, right? And so these proton pump inhibitors, hydrogen ions are what help create the acidity of the stomach. Those are protons. And the proton pump inhibitors prevent you from producing them. So now what you're doing is you're like literally effectively shutting down the production of stomach acid, which even further worsens the condition. It's like putting a Band-Aid over a bullet hole for the most part. And what we're finding today is that if you take those for too long, they are being connected with neurological degenerative disorders like Alzheimer's disease, because you're not getting your B12, you're not digesting your proteins, you're not digesting your food properly, and it just creates this whole series of events further down south in the digestive tract. And the thing is that the digestive tract has direct communication with the brain. There's bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain and the gut via the vagus nerve. In fact, the gut sends 9 times the amount of information to the brain than the brain sends to the gut. So when you start to have digestive disturbances arising in the gut because of weakened stomach acid, that weakened stomach acid is going to create a host of issues in the small intestine, which will eventually create issues in the large intestine, and then you're going to get information sent up to the brain about that. You start having inflammation in the gut. That inflammation translates up into the brain. You start getting neuroinflammation. And then that sends signals back down to the gut that promotes more inflammation. I'll go into that further, but I just want you to know that when there's that it's really important that you have strong stomach acid, because weak stomach acid can lead to a whole series of events further down south. Okay? Now, what do you do for weak stomach acid? My favorite first thing to do for weakened stomach acid is digestive bitters. That you take a digestive bitters tincture. The taste of bitter on the tongue stimulates or it triggers your inherent digestive forces. So when you get the taste of bitter on your tongue, that taste of bitter sends a message to the stomach to start producing and secreting hydrochloric acid, your gastric juices. It stimulates the pancreas to begin secreting pancreatic juices, and it triggers the gallbladder to start releasing bile into the small intestine. So all of your inherent digestive forces get stimulated by digestive bitters. That's my favorite first thing to do. I think everybody should do it. The next thing is if that's not working, if that's still not enough, the next thing you want to do is a hydrochloric acid challenge. And that is, you want to go to the health food store or to your healthcare practitioner who is practicing nutritional medicine preferably, or your nutritionist, and you want to get some HCl tabs and take one or two in the middle of a meal and see if you feel any warmth or burning in your belly. If you don't feel any warmth or burning in your belly from that, you need hydrochloric acid tablets. And so that's and by taking hydrochloric acid tablets in the middle of each meal, you begin to give your stomach the acid that it needs. It also stimulates its own production of acid as well. And now you begin to digest your proteins better, and you start digesting your food better. And what you might notice is that you have reduced bloating, reduced gas. You don't feel like the food is just sitting in your stomach, because when you have hypochlorhydria, some of the signs and symptoms of hypochlorhydria is when you eat a protein-rich meal, like if you eat some meat, you feel like it just sits in your belly, like it doesn't go anywhere. Another one is that you get gas or bloating after you eat. So once you start to take the hydrochloric acid tablets, if you start to feel like a lighter sensation from meat, you don't feel it sitting in your stomach for so long, you don't get as much gas or bloating, then that's a sign that you're on the right track. Okay? Next is when we enter into the small intestine. If there are digestive issues up north in the stomach, chances are there's going to be digestive issues down south. Actually, what I like to say is that when there's issues down south in the digestive tract, look north. So you want to begin at the top of the chain and work your way down. All right? Now, one of the things you can do for digestion in the small intestine is take digestive enzymes. Now, you still can take your bitters, you can still take the hydrochloric acid, and you can add in digestive enzymes as well. And digestive enzyme formulas will have a wide array of digestive enzymes that are designed to help break down your starches, your proteins, and your fats. And that's going to enhance your digestion also. So the good thing about the bitters is that it's going to stimulate your own inherent forces to do it. That's really what we want to do. We want to stimulate our body to do it on its own, but sometimes we need some help, and the enzymes are really sufficient for that. There's a lot of enzyme formulas on the market that you can use. I have no preference to which one, but just go to your local health food store or to your local nutritional practitioner, and they will have products that are adequate for you. Now, another thing that's going to help with digestion is probiotics. So when we get from the small intestine down into the large intestine, now we're looking at this major microbial colony called the microbiome. I'm going to get more into that in another video. I'm going to be talking specifically about the microbiome in one of the upcoming videos in this series. But in the colon, digestion happens there as well via beneficial bacteria. So taking a really good probiotic is important, because probiotics do a variety of things. One, they support the immune system, they help crowd out pathogenic bacteria, and they also help with digesting your food or extracting the energy out of your food. So having a healthy microbial ecosystem by taking probiotics or eating fermented foods is going to enhance your digestion as well. So, just as kind of a review here, that's a lot, but this is stuff that anyone can do. Anyone out there suffering from any kind of digestive disturbances, everything I just mentioned, you can try, you can do. So Step 1, pause before you eat. Slow down, breathe, express some gratitude. Get into a calm, relaxed parasympathetic state where your digestive capacities are increased. Chew your food properly. Chew your food so much that the solids become liquid and they're drinkable. Okay? In the stomach, you want to enhance hydrochloric acid secretion. Start with digestive bitters. These are plants that have bitter taste qualities to them. A lot of times people say, well, can I take it in a capsule? No. You actually have to have the taste of bitter on the tongue. That's what stimulates the digestive forces. So you get a tincture, a bitters tincture. There's some really great ones that you'll find at health food stores and also with your practitioners. Any kind of really good herbal practitioner can make a wonderful bitters tincture for you. So take bitters. Try hydrochloric acid if the bitters aren't enough. You can also do apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar isn't as strong as hydrochloric acid. It's acetic acid, but it is an acid, and it also has a bit of a sour bitterness to it that will stimulate stomach acid secretion as well. Digestive enzymes. So now we got bitters, hydrochloric acid, digestive enzymes, and then finally probiotics. That's kind of furthest down south in the chain of digestion, down in the colon. And so that is a comprehensive approach to improving your digestive capacity. If you want to learn what else I have to offer or how to work with me, go to the link below at judahveitel.com. In the next video, I'm going to be walking you through the brain-gut axis, leaky gut and autoimmunity, and then probably dip into the microbiome too, because it's all related. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them down below in the comments section. And I am grateful to you for watching this video, and I hope you have a nourishing day.